Yellow Jacob with a Week 4 Minnesota Vikings preview. So without further ado, let's get into it. So yeah, the Minnesota Vikings will be taking on the New Orleans Saints in London at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So we get to see some Sunday morning football. So yeah, let's go ahead and break this down. Oh boy, let's just say this is going to be an interesting matchup. Because again, the Saints are a very, very physical, very in-your-face, very no-nonsense type of guy. Or, just group of guys, I should say there. But the Saints, you never know where you're going to get with them. I mean, one week they look like a Super Bowl champions, and the next week Jameis Winston is going back to his Tampa Bay 30 for 30 days, throwing interceptions like hotcakes, giving everybody turnovers. So he's a very big wild card, in why I, still don't know how I feel about the Saints as far as the organization and the team is concerned. But, yeah, I mean, if they're on, though, I mean, they're definitely one of the top teams in the NFC. It's just there's so much inconsistency. And granted, they're 1-2, but that really doesn't mean anything at this point. Just like the Vikings are 2-1, squeaking away a victory against the Lions, in which, I mean, the Lions just punched us in the mouth, up and down, back and forth, left and right. I mean, Dan Campbell, though, at the end, cost them the game. He just basically flat out cost them the game with his decision making, but hey, again, though, that's just growing pains. I mean, I know it's year 2's, but it'll be interesting to see there. And like I say, the Vikings secondary. Oh boy. If you ever need a right game or a get right game or whatever you want to say, play our secondary. God, it's like Zimmer never frickin' left. I mean, Ed Donatell's defense is a lot of bend but don't break. But they bent so much that I'm surprised they haven't broken more, because we're like towards the bottom in like almost all the categories. And yet we're somehow 10th in scoring defense. And we haven't given up a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Now, those could very, very easily be famous last words. And I'll explain why. Chris Olave. Michael Thomas turning back into the 2019 Michael Thomas, which is a very, very dangerous guy. Alvin Kamara is no slouch. I mean, do I have to tell him what happened last time we frickin' played him? I still think I have PTSD from that. So, yeah. And in a lot of ways, there too, it's just like, there's just so much to digest there, because it's like, there's a lot of things that I like from this team, under the new regime and all that stuff, but there's also a lot of stuff that still has me scratching my head and whether or not I believe in these guys yet or not. But, yeah, like I say, their offense is no joke. Our defense is, kind of a joke. Like, where was that pass rush last week? I mean, you let anybody stand back there for 4 or 5 seconds, they're going to pick you apart. And also, it sounds like Zadarius Smith might be banged up. And so it begins. I mean, again, there's not really much we can do about that, but who knows? I mean, we just gotta do our thing. I mean, we just gotta go out there and shut them down. I mean, bend but don't break. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what we gotta try to do there. Limit these explosive plays. And who knows? If you can get Jameis to turn into the 30 for 30 Tampa Bay Jameis, versus the MVP caliber early last season Jameis, you got a chance. However, though, flipping it over on the other side, Kirk Cousins, I like what I saw with him divvying the ball up and down the field to Thielen, Osborne, and Dalvin Cook looked pretty good until he dislocated his shoulder in the fourth quarter, and yeah, no, that's pretty much what we can just expect from here on out. I mean, it is what it is. We pretty much knew this was going to be an issue from the beginning. Thankfully, Alexander Madison is more than capable. Kanena Wangu was looking pretty good. You know, Ty Chandler showed flashes in preseason, so I think our running game will be all right. It's just how do we kind of adjust our playbook? Because don't forget, they still have Cam Jordan. They have the Honey Badger. They have Marshawn Lattimore. They have very hungry linebackers, too. Like, I mean, that defense is no joke. However, they can be had, too. Like, they're very emotional. Very just grinders. So, you're going to have to deal with that, too. And not to mention, as well, the Saints have been in London since, I think, late Monday. And the Vikings, you know, they won't be showing up until, I think, tomorrow. So, advantage New Orleans? Maybe. I don't know, you know. I mean, each team has its own routine. Each team has its own thing. This, that, and the other thing. And like I say, for the first time in forever, we're not going up against Sean Payton. And like I say, Sean Payton, Drew Brees with Alvin Kamara and those guys, I don't think I need to tell you, that still brings up repressed memories. Yeah, I don't, yeah. Yeah. Whew. But yeah, no, I mean, like I say, basically what it comes down to is which team is hungrier. Because at the end of the day, the Vikings are 2-1, the Saints are 1-2 going into this game, and whoever wins this game, you know, has a lot of momentum moving forward. And like I say, the Vikings after this, too, have the Chicago Bears the following week. So, you know, there's still a couple pretty big games here, because if we can come out of London with a win, and we take on the Bears next week and get a win there, we'll be 4-1 going into Miami, which is a very difficult place to play all of a sudden, you know. But again, we'll kind of worry about that when we get there. And if we could be, you know, 4-2 going into the bye, set ourselves up nicely, because then after that, the schedule kind of, you know, tames a little bit and sort of winds down. And then, like I said, we'll already be 3-0 in the division, which is huge because, like I say, all of our home division games are done after week 5. And I don't think I need to tell you, but week 17 and week 18 at Green Bay, at Chicago, could be for a lot of marbles. But again, we'll worry about that when we get there. And yeah, so each game is huge. And I like what I saw with the Vikings getting it together at the end and coming away with the victory. Now, was it a clean game? Hell no. Was it a game that made me want to rip my head off? Yes. But to be fair, though, the Vikings always have those games every year where no call, no show, basically. You know, they just look like, you know, they went home, basically. Like... And again, the Philadelphia Eagles are looking really good all of a sudden. You know, like an actual legitimate Super Bowl threat potentially. But again, week 3, going into week 4, we'll wait and see. But yeah, I mean, again, massive matchup across the pond. Sunday morning football. I mean, we'll wait and see. This is going to be a big, big game moving forward here. And, yeah, we'll just basically pick it up after that and kind of go from there. So, until we meet again, this is Jacob. Have a good day.